Asana is a great tool for day-to-day project management and ongoing campaigns, but if you are the person who's receiving intakes for requests and approvals, you know how quickly that can all build up. And maybe you are getting requests from Slack, Asana, email, WhatsApp, and other tools. I'm going to show you today a way to alleviate all of those stressors. And so we're going to be talking today about how to manage your approvals and requests inside of Asana. The problem is that as your team scales, complexity scales, and as more requests are coming in, you need a better way to manage it all. I'm going to show you that all today. If you are new to the channel, my name is Marquis. I am a business process consultant and Asana expert, and you have landed on the #1 channel on YouTube for all things related to Asana, process improvement, and project management. And so if you haven't already, please make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Maybe you want to do it halfway through the video. If you get some value out of this, like, subscribe, because it really does help me reach more people like you who are also looking for these solutions. But enough with the plug, let's get into today's demo. And so for this example, I'm going to show you two ways that you can do this. One way is going to be within the project. So we have our simple, to do in progress. And as things are moving through in progress, you have your team working on them. As something needs to be approved, we're going to move it to this section right here. And I'm going to add in rules that are going to ask the person that's responsible for approving it to take that action. So it'll be really simple to start, but again, you can do whatever you want with this. Asana is a big open box. So let's just go set up this rule. And I'm not going to do the inverse of these rules, but let's just assume we're just moving these tasks or these cards through a Kanban board. So I'm going to add an action that will do this. It will create an approval request. So we're going to say approve task in parent task, right? And maybe it's due 3 days from now, maybe a bit more time, and then we're going to assign it to the person who's responsible for approving it, like that. And then we're going to go and we're going to create that rule. So now anytime we move a task right there, it's going to assign it to that person, and we're going to change the status now, the approval status, to be reviewed. So I'm just going to go in, I'm going to add another rule, and then when the task is moved to that section as well, we're going to have the approval status set to be reviewed. So let's just go and test it out like that. What's nice about this is you can have this subtask that stems right from that parent task. And because subtasks can now be visualized on timelines and in workload and everything else I can't remember right now, we can actually estimate on that time as well and keep track of those things. So that's a really nice plus. So now we have approved task and parent task. It's assigned to me on Tuesday, and we can see the overall status is now to be reviewed. So that's one way that you can do it, by individual task. It's probably the simplest way you can do it, but again, there's a plethora of different ways that you can do this. So I'm going to go and I'm going to delete this approval for a second, and I'm going to go in and remove these rules here, and I'm going to show you something that I've already done. So I have this now marketing requests and approvals project. So I mentioned that as complexity scales, or your team scales, the complexity scales. And so maybe you have hundreds of approvals that are spanning across several weeks and months, and there's a more rigorous or involved approval process. And so you want to have a bit of a different way to approach this and really think about this. And so with this project, it's really simple. I've got 5 sections here. In review, needs information, approved, and rejected. I'm going to show you how this works, because with the other way that I was showing you within the project, yes, they can request changes and they can reject things in the subtask, but again, the goal is always visibility. How do we get visibility? And then if we're doing it a way like this that I'm going to show you, it's now easier to report on these things, because within this project, you can use your dashboard as well, rather than having all the information that the previous project that I was showing you would provide to you. So within this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to our social media audit here, and the rule I'm going to set is this one. I'm going to move that back up there, and I'm going to set this rule that as it's to move to the to be approved section, again, I'm not going to do the inverse of the rule, but I'm going to add this to another project here. And so this was called marketing requests approvals, and it's going to go in the to be reviewed section. And then we're also going to update and add an action that the approval status is going to be moved to be reviewed. All right, so let's just test that for a second. I'll turn this one back to nothing, and then we'll go like this. Asana is going to do its thing. Great, status has been updated, and we're going to turn on our projects here so we can just confirm, yep, it's gone to the right place, and let's make sure it's in the right section here. There we go, to be reviewed, and now it's in this section. So now you can have an entirely different team in here that's assigned to these things, and depending on the type of approval, what department it's for, you can have different custom fields that assign it to different people. And so there's quite a bit you can do. Because we know how to set up rules already, if you don't, I have videos on that. I'm not going to set up these rules, but as we move them through, the goal would be that within this project, we can now update this to automatically move to in review. If needs information comes in, this could be a place where we're now, we don't know what to do with this. We need information. So we're going to go back to the person that submitted it, and we're going to say, hey, provide more information, please. And then we could set a rule that it's now in the information needed section. But what's super important about an approach like this is that when it's approved, we know what to do next. And if it's rejected, we also know what to do next. And so for this example, I'm just going to do the rejected side of it, because I'm going to show you what the options are for that. And then if you have an approval workflow, once it's approved, right, you can just think of how to apply this to the approval. But oftentimes, whether it's manually like this or by a form that you're submitting, maybe requests are being submitted by forms and then it enters a project like this, right? That can be another way that you do it. Rather than having them come from the main project, you have to then go and submit a form, but then it's not connected to the actual parent task. So again, if we really sat down, if we were on a call together, we could think through these different scenarios together and come up with the best solution for your team. So I'm going to put it in the rejected section, but before I do that, I'm actually going to create a rule. So once it gets here, right, it's like, what do we do next? How do we communicate it to these folks? So the person that, maybe created the task or, triggered the rule in this case, they are the one that moved it to this section to be approved in the first place. We can do a couple things. So once it's moved there, we can now say, all right, we're going to set the approval status to rejected, right? Maybe we are going to set the completion status to mark complete, just to finish it off. And then I want to go one step further. I want to go in and I'm going to create a comment, right? So now we can say, we could use Asana's dynamic fields now, and we can go by people, and then we can go task creator, like that. If it was a task creator that would have created this task in the previous project that we're now multi-home to. So you can go task creator. This task was rejected. Please, I don't know, refer to the code. I don't know. What would you say? Please refer to the SOP for what to do next. And you can really put whatever messaging you want. This was rejected. Sorry for your luck. I don't know. Be nicer than that. All right. So now we can do things like that. And we can now create this rule. So as this moves through, we can have these kind of automations run and do things for us. So it automatically completes. It reduces the need for manual intervention, right? Marquis Murray was the task creator. This task was rejected. Sorry for your luck. We can even, have it say, please, this is nicer. Please review the request and make any changes needed. If you require additional information as to why this was rejected, please submit a ticket to your department head, right? So you can really do anything you want to here, just as long as we're properly communicating these things. So I would love to know kind of like what you are doing within your organization. I've just shown you two ways. Forms would be another way to do this, but again, with Asana, there's no wrong ways. It's just the way that we all agree on the team that we're going to use this tool together. So again, if you got some value out of this, please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, because it's the likes and the comments and the sharing of this video that helps this video get in front of more people like you who are looking for a solution. So if you're a longtime follower and you haven't yet joined the community, please go ahead and do that. But thanks for being here, and we'll see you in the next video.